Hi, I often get asked what I give my dogs for their food. Well, today I'm going to show you my vegetable puree that I make for my dogs to add with their meaty stuff. And I'll go through what meats I will give afterwards. First of all, sweet potato. I give them really whatever's in my fridge that is going, a little bit soft or a little bit inappropriate for human consumption anymore, but it's still good food. This is another form of sweet potato. It's a slightly purpley one, so they're going to get a bit of that in there today as well. Carrots, great for dogs as well. Now you might have a dog that will eat a carrot just raw, and that's fine. So you probably wouldn't worry about putting it in their vegetable mixture. My dog is now old and she might eat a small piece of carrot, but not a lot. And on a whole, my dogs have never been fond of eating raw vegetables. So this is really a good way of getting their vegetables into them. And of course, some things like potatoes have to be cooked. You can't give those raw to dogs. So that's carrots and 2 forms of potato in that pot so far. I am also going to put I've got some Brussels sprouts. They were actually purple Brussels sprouts. But again, this is just what's in my fridge. So these are going in as well. We're going to chop them up and we're going to put them in the container. Now this container that I'm using, this red one, is been around for years. It's a microwave container for doing rice in actually. But I just find it's a very convenient container to put all of this in. So those Brussels sprouts are going in. Now I'm going to put a little bit of water because I'm microwaving this. It wasn't a lot of water, probably around about 50 ml maybe. I'm going to put lid 1 on, lid 2 on, and that's going in the microwave. While that's in the microwave, I'm microwaving that, I'm going to cut up the green vegetables. Now today I've got some zucchini, I have got some broccolini. It's gone a bit limp, so not so brilliant for me, but she's not going to care. My dog's not going to worry about that. I have got some cauliflower. Again, roughly chopped, nothing gets peeled, it's just roughly chopped there. And I'm going to add some fruit today as well. I'm going to add an apple. So again, I'm going to just roughly chop that. Now dogs shouldn't have the apple pips themselves, so yes, I'm going to get rid of the core from the apple. But that's going in as well. Not peeling it, just having it as it is, just taking the major part of the core because of the pips that they can't have inside. So I'm going to wait for that other root vegetables to be done, and then I'm going to add this in too. Also add any vegetables. Spinach is great, kale, squash of any descriptions. Pumpkin, I will often put pumpkin in. I just did not have it in the fridge today. Beetroots, they're great too, any beets. So those are all the vegetables and fruits that you can just put in to make this puree. Now the carbohydrates that the dog is going to be getting is going to be from the potatoes. And of course, yes, some other vegetables, they do get a certain amount of carbs from it, but not a lot. But you might also want to cook up and add in some stuff like porridge oats, quinoa. Yes, I do quinoa quite often, and I add it. I'll make up this pulp, and then maybe in about 2 days' time, it'll be getting a bit low in volume, so therefore I will add up some quinoa. Follow the instructions on the packet, make it up, and then you can add that as well. Same with the porridge oats. So those are also good carbohydrates. Some people put rice in. I'm not a fan of rice, but quinoa is my go-to carbohydrate and the sweet potatoes for the dogs. Quinoa actually has quite a bit of protein in it, so it is quite good for the dogs. Okay, so the green vegetables have been added to my pot. I have microwaved them and they're all steamy hot and cooked now. So now I'm going to add some other stuff. So what do I add? Well, again, all sorts. Today I have got a bit of stock that was left over from a roast meat that I did the other day. So I'm going to add a bit of that just to make it a bit easier for my mixer to blend it all down. Quantities, yeah, really doesn't matter. I also add apple cider vinegar, healthy for dogs and humans. Not too much, a bit of a splash. For flavour, I add some Vegemite, and it's also got a lot of vitamin B's in it, which can be lacking in a raw diet for dogs. So that's my way of getting vitamin B into the dogs. A bit of a mess. There we go. Because I add the vinegar, I also add something sweet. Now, honey is probably expensive to be adding. It's going to take a while to come out here. Sometimes I will buy molasses. If I can't afford the honey, I will buy molasses to go in. That will just add a bit of sweetness. Because you're adding the vinegar, you just need something a little bit to take the edge off that vinegar taste. So that's why I put a bit of honey or molasses. Golden syrup even, for that matter, and not a lot. You're not going to put a lot of sugars in. We don't want to add too much sugars into our dog's diet, but just a bit. So we're going to get some of that in. Okay, not a lot. So then we're going to add, I've got some flaxseed. Now I've got the flaxseed meal, not the actual seeds, which is the seeds can be a bit hard to blend down, so I've got the meal. I also add in psyllium husks. If you've got a dog that's got anal gland problems, this is a must. Now, my dog doesn't, but it is good for their regular pooing, so we'll add in that as well. Now, my dog is older, she's got arthritics, and I grow turmeric in my garden. Now, not many people grow turmeric, so I'm going to add turmeric in there as well. You don't need to. If you want to add turmeric, you can buy powder turmeric and add that in. If you think that your dog would benefit from turmeric on a regular basis, if they're old or arthritic, then they might well do. This is just what I've got on hand today. But what you might want to add in as well would be things like hemp seeds. I've often bought hemp seeds and put in sunflower seeds, another one, pumpkin seeds. And then also you've got to think about giving your dog some extra fruits as well. Now, I don't tend to put much in the way of fruits in here other than the pears and the apples. But I will often give my dogs banana, berries, but those things they will actually eat in their bowl. So I will just cut up a banana and add half a banana in one day and the other half will get used the next day. And then I will use some berries, melon, as in rock melon is also good for dogs. So I will sometimes give them some rock melon as well. So you can be a little bit creative with it, that's all good. Now we've got all this mixture in there and it's ready to get zapped down. So I have one of these bar mix things, and that's going to make a big noise. I might edit some of this out, but we're going to just smash it all. Okay, now that's finished all getting smashed down. It is quite blended. So I'm going to put it in a bowl now. So that's all gone into there. I just keep that in the fridge and I will then dish it out on a daily basis. Now, I just want to also talk about what you're going to add with this. The quantity that they're going to get from this is just going to be about 2 spoonfuls. So I'm just going to use just a couple of big spoonfuls in their bowl. This is what they're going to get on a daily basis. Now you're going to add meat. Meat is the most important thing for your dog's diet. this is only a percentage of what they're eating. They need to have some meat. So I'd suggest that you source out a butcher, or you go to something like, in Brisbane here, we've got a place called Pet Mince Direct, which has got all sorts of meats and fishes, bones, everything for dogs. So it's you can buy just the meats themselves. You can even buy ones that have been mixed up with vegetables ready. So if you don't want to go to this effort, you can go and buy that. But it's important to give the different types of meat. So for example, you need to give muscle meat. That's the main part of their diet. Things like beef chunks, kangaroo chunks or kangaroo mince, lamb, pork, heart from cows. You can buy a whole heart from some butchers. So you're going to chop that up and put it all. I've chopped mine up. I go to the butcher and with Pet Mince Direct, I bring it all home, I chop it up and I bag it up into bags. They go in the freezer and some goes in the bowl ready for the next week. You also need to give organs to your dog, animal organs, things like liver, kidneys, brain, tripe, spleen, lungs, tracheas. Now sometimes these things aren't available. Liver and kidneys are generally always available, and heart are generally always available. Whole fish is also great for dogs. I buy whole sardines, and they're often quite biggish ones. The whole fish gets given to the dog, head and tail as well, because the head and tail have got some good source of calcium, bones, sinews, everything, and it's a good source of omega-3s. So along with that, then you probably want to be starting to give your dogs some bones as well, because they need to get tendons that are in bones. Tendons are little white sort of stretchy things that you can see in meats and bones. Chicken feet have also got tendons in them. Now, giving bones to dogs is a whole different subject. I'm not going to cover that now. There are a few videos around that you can watch about giving bones to dogs. There are risks, yes. Never ever cooked bones, and make sure the bone is appropriate size for your dog. I do remember once, a number of years ago, I bought some chicken necks for my dogs, and one of my dogs decided that he was going to swallow the whole thing whole. Now that's not giving a bone to a dog. Yes, it will get digested down, and he was fine about it, but doesn't going to do anything to their teeth if you're going to swallow it whole. So you need to give an appropriate size bone for your dog. You can also think about maybe adding other supplements to their vegetable pulp that you've done. As you saw, I was putting turmeric in there. I have often bought cod liver oil, especially if I've not been getting fish. I will buy cod liver oil, seaweed if seaweed is available for you. And just sometimes a raw diet, when it's a total raw diet, in other words, you're giving no kibble biscuits at all, could be lacking in stuff like zinc and magnesium, which could be also added. And vitamin E. Sometimes you might find the dog could be low on vitamin E. Mostly through my career of having dogs, I have given part biscuits as well. There was only one dog that basically had total raw diet because she could not eat the biscuits. So, but most of my dogs will have maybe a handful or so of biscuits during the day as well. So they are getting a certain amount of supplements in those biscuits. And it's a good quality biscuit that I buy, but you can imagine you get through a whole lot less biscuits. And when you're paying more than $100 for a bag of dog biscuits these days, you can imagine the savings that you make. The vegetables that you're buying are quite cheap. Often it's just excess of what you bought for yourself. You will find that it is a very cheap way to feed a dog, and not just a healthy way, but also a very cheap way, especially comparing it to buying ready-made, easy to give meals from some of these known companies. I'm not going to name them. There are some really good companies that you can buy ready-made essentially raw diets for dogs. And there's not a problem with that. They're all fine. They are quite expensive and not everybody can afford that, but you can perhaps afford to do this. So give it a go. Give it a go.